Now, if you thought the NSA's powers have been reined in, well, you'd be wrong. An appeals court just overturned the previous ruling that blocked the NSA from continuing to collect phone data from millions of Americans. Now, the prior judge, he called the program Orwellian, but that didn't sway the three-judge panel that just reversed the ban. All right, Doug, before I get into what the ruling means, where it goes from here, there are times on issues that we'll get into. I joked around before the break, the Deflategate. People just want this thing over. They want their football to start in a week or so, and they don't want to talk about this anymore. There reaches a point where it becomes white noise for the public. My sense is that when there were the front page exposés about, well, my gosh, after Snowden, look where the feds are going into our kit and caboodle, and look at what the phone companies and telcos, look at what they're sharing here with the feds, and we're none the wiser. I think there was an expectation in Washington, and certainly among the telecommunication companies, there'd be a huge blowback by the public to say, oh my God, let's get to the bottom of this. That didn't really happen. And I think because of that, there has been a pulse taken to the public, and Washington, let alone the NSA, feels business back as usual. Make a compelling argument why somebody at home who says either they're going to do it anyway or I've got nothing to hide, why they should care about the next step of the subject we're going to talk about.
Well, I think the most compelling argument is you're seeing a pattern of this in this country over and over again. In 2008, they bailed out the banks. Everybody said, oh my God, people are going to go crazy. Nobody said a word. Now you have a clear Fourth Amendment violation. This is a Fourth Amendment violation we're talking about, taking people's information without a warrant. And once again, it's out there, it's in the public, and nobody seems to do anything. It's a clear pattern in this country that keeps going. And if people sit down, good people, smart people, and don't say anything, this will continue to go on and on and on until people's rights and people's opinions, and I'm talking about lay people, the people in power and control won't care about them anymore. And I think it's really getting to that point at this point.
Are we seeing, Mayo, in your eyes, a tangible infringement on liberty that would surprise the general public?
I think after September 11th, the American population basically gave a lot of our rights away because we did so under the belief that the government was going to keep us safe. And I don't think we fully realized what that meant. And to Doug's point, I mean, just stop and think about Martha Stewart going to prison because she lied to the government in connection with her fraud in the insider trading. Yeah. But yet, at that same time, all of our congressmen and women were able to do insider trading legally. So what kind of a standard is that? And only after there was some outcry about that did that change. So these are the same people writing the laws that determine what's illegal for the rest of us while they do what they want. But the bigger point to me is that most people don't believe it's going to ever infringe upon their liberty, their particular rights. But imagine if you and I are running for office and I'm the sitting congressman or mayor.
Of course, make yourself the incumbent. Go ahead. Yeah.
I have to have the ability to use the NSA against you. So say I'm the president and I'm kind of nervous because you're rising in the polls. Well, maybe, yeah, we're doing bulk collection, but maybe we pay a little more attention to Richard French's phone calls and his emails. And that's the stuff that we don't think about. How can it be used in the hands of someone who's irresponsible? Not just a candidate that you support or just be concerned when you have a candidate you don't like. Same thing with fast track. You start talking about giving so much power to so few people and we'll never really know actually what happens. It's not as if they're going to bring these cases to court and say we're trying to use it. So there's no motion to suppress.
Jimmy, there seems to be seemingly by the month and by the quarter a reversal and another reversal and it's without enough clarity. So two questions. One is, where's the next step for this? First off, why the reversal? And where's the next step, if not and eventually all the way to the Supreme Court?
Well, this is never getting to the Supreme Court because the government's really smart and they're phasing this program out, so it's going to be moot, and they're replacing it with another program, so maybe that'll get to the Supreme Court in 2 or 3 years. You know, people are tired. People in this country are tired. They just went through years and years and years of a financial crisis that left so many of them broke, so many of them without a job. And unfortunately, if you're not knocking on their door and searching their house, they just don't have anything left to complain about it. The problem is that this was all done in such secrecy that what we're allowing the government to do is to do something in secret, and You say, why the reversal? Why this was reversed? This was reversed because the court found that because they couldn't prove ultimately that their information was actually taken, they didn't have standing to argue it. And here's the rub, and this is what people need to think about. In order to establish standing, they need information from the government, and the government says, sorry, it's secret, we can't give it to you. So the point is, we are at the whim and caprice of legislation that allows the government to delve into our lives, our most personal lives, and we can't complain about it because the information we need to complain about it is being held by the government.
And to amplify Doug's point, I just want everybody to think about this. I don't care your politics, Republican, Democrat, doesn't make a difference. I don't think people down deep, at least the vast majority, think that this Justice Department, this administration is going to be Nixonian. Just imagine, and this is a scary concept, Donald Trump is your next president. With just what we've seen on the campaign trail, to Mayo's point, do you think vendettas could be settled through the idea of tapping in to someone's personal information? Do you know what national letters you can do right now with? I can go knock on your door, Joe Schmo, or if I don't like you in New Jersey right now, if I'm the government, I can go without a warrant to your employer, I can get all your records, and you will be going to jail if you inform your employee, you Joe Schmo in Jersey, that I've been to your office. I can also go to your bank, and I can get all of your records, and I can find out for a fact here as to what you're buying, how much you have, who do you owe money to. I can go to the library. I can find out what books you're reading. All legal. By the way, you're none the wiser. Think about it as an employer, how long they want to keep you around that much more, even if you haven't done anything wrong. This is all legal. I believe after 9/11 we have to do different things to protect ourselves in this country. But for anybody who thinks that this issue doesn't matter to you, just think for a minute who's asking the questions and who's checking. And if you're really still comfortable with it, go with God. I do think, though, it is way past time. We had a debate as to where the limits start and stop. Okay. A big issue that happened in the Trayvon Martin case, but once again is coming up, this time not in Florida, but in Tennessee. Stand your ground. Again, it is in the headlines here, and the question and the debate is, where a killing crosses the line from self-defense into possibly murder. We'll talk about that after this.